What's up, everybody? Got another group review for everybody today. Today we all decided to go see the newest A24 film called High Life.
High Life.
Starring your boy Robert Pattinson and directed by a female director that goes by the name of Claire Denis. This is actually the first time that I've heard of this filmmaker, and apparently she actually has a lot of material out that I haven't seen that apparently is pretty good, so I gotta definitely check her shit out eventually. But yeah, so High Life is the next epic space thriller. I'm just kidding.
It's not an Interstellar.
So yeah, that kind of bridges me as a kind of precursor to this. Don't go into this film really expecting an epic blockbuster space thriller.
No, not at all.
I don't know what kind of all the audience that's watching this video right now, but if you heard of High Life and you don't really know much about it except that Robert Pattinson's in it and it's in space, I would proceed with caution, because this is definitely not your conventional space thriller by any means.
Not at all.
That being said, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie a lot.
I greatly enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really liked it.
This is a film that definitely is going to be divisive.
Oh yeah.
You know, coming out of the gate before this film got screened to a lot of people, I honestly heard nothing but praise about how great this film is. But as more people got exposed to it, I started seeing more divisive reception.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I guess I'll start by saying that the thing that just stunned me the most about this film, I think the two aspects of filmmaking that I think was this film's strong point was its cinematography and the score.
Oh,
I love the score.
The score to me was so unique and incredibly immersive, especially for 2 or 3 moments in this film that were really anxiety-inducing and really immersive. The score just really hit home for me, and I can see maybe casual moviegoers going into this and finding almost every aspect just weird.
Weird?
Yeah.
Off kilter and just boring for them.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because, like, even though I enjoyed the score and we all enjoyed the score, I can see, you know, somebody who's not too deep into filmmaking watching this and being like, what the fuck? Why did they choose that for this moment? It's a really unorthodox movie in my opinion.
It is.
There's a few sequences in this film that I just thought were, not only were they really artistic, but I found them to be really immersive and really odd at the same time. It's just, this movie throws a lot of odd things at you that you kind of just have to roll with, and I enjoyed most of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody want to chime in, say anything?
You want to go, Perry?
I was really shocked. Like, I knew I thought this movie was gonna be at least decent. I didn't realize that I would come out of this movie really liking it. And like you said, the aesthetics of this movie are off the wall insane. They are incredible. I was pretty immersed throughout the entire film. I can see the pacing being an issue for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think it bothered me as much as it probably would most casual audiences. I definitely did have a couple of pacing issues with it, but for the most part, it didn't bother me that much. Because, I mean, the aesthetics and just the way the story progressed, it just really kept me captivating. So, like, the pacing was, like, the farthest thing from my mind.
Right.
Yeah, I can definitely see that, because that's basically, I guess, one of my small, I guess it's more of a nitpick than an actual critique. But, yeah, the pacing felt a little like, at times, you're just trying to, I guess it's not just the pacing, but for me, it was some of the narrative structure with the pacing that kind of,
I can see that.
kind of, at times, slightly frustrated me, but I think by the end of it, it all kind of pays off for me. Even though, again, there are some things that you kind of, at least for me, there were some things that I was still kind of confused about. But I think most of those things, after talking with you guys, trying to clarify, I think most of the questions that I had are are kind of not fully answered, but I have a grip on it, more or less.
Right. Well, I'm glad not all the questions I have for this movie were answered, cut and dry, because it gives me something to think about on the way home, as opposed to most movies you watch nowadays. You see it, you forget it the next day, because it doesn't leave the impression that you want onto you. But this film definitely left a huge impression onto me.
Yeah, one thing that did kind of bother me in terms of like writing, I thought some of the whole setup, like regarding around why they're there in space, a lot of that was explained to you just through like characters verbally telling you what it was, and some of that just felt a little off-putting, because this whole movie is basically told to you through visual means.
Right.
And some of that stuff in the beginning, where it was just kind of like spoon feeding you a lot of the background, it felt like kind of like a little rushed and lazy, kind of like the filmmakers is kind of like, okay, this really isn't that important, so I just kind of want to rush through it and get past it, and let's just start the movie. And I feel like some of the answers we got to that just felt like really quick and verbal, like too. I guess for me, it was definitely too verbal. I wish some of that background information, some of that would have been conveyed through visual means, because the entire movie is almost conveyed to you through those kind of visual aspects. And but on top of that, like that is what I like the most about the film, is that it was able to tell you a lot through visual means, even if it is a little jarring because of how things, like the way a lot of the events are told and the way that it's sequenced. Again, it's really unconventional. I can see people watching this and being like, wow, that went from A to B really quick, And even now thinking about it, there are some things that happen to, I guess, one character in my mind, which has to do with just how he died or how he vanished. It just seems a little like I'm not sure if I get it. Maybe if we do a spoiler section, we'll talk about it. But if I had to, say something that I wasn't too fond of, was how a lot of the background was just kind of verbally explained to you. It just didn't fit, for me, it didn't really fit the approach of the rest of the film.
Yeah, I actually took issue with that too myself. I completely agree with everything you just said, because that did bother me as well, and it did kind of, take me out, but, momentarily.
What about you, Eric?
Oh, my time?
Yeah, man. You're pretty fucking quiet, man.
I didn't know when to chime in.
You can chime in whenever you want, dude.
Well, I really, really, really like the movie. Maybe even love it. But, I mean, I have issues with it, but they're different issues. I personally don't have a problem with the whole not explaining thoroughly, like, through visual means, why the characters are there in the first place. Because, I don't know, I had different problems. Like, I kind of wish, like, maybe we had more motivations for each character individually, and not exactly why, like, the mission is important. My biggest problem with the movie, I think, is the dialogue. Like, not that, obviously not that all of it's bad, there's just, like, some little delivery moments that are a little unconvincing, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
But, apart from that, everything is great. Like, I can understand why some people would be bothered by the pacing, but for me, it was told very visually. No, it was just told very beautifully for me. I didn't really have any confusion of keeping up with the movie, because I knew from the first act, like, it's just setting up a couple things, and then you'll learn more.
Eventually, the film was going to explain itself,
As soon as I got that the film was like, it was giving you more information and things were starting to make more sense, I was just like strapped in and just ready to experience what the film was giving me. But yeah, like I said, I have different issues. I don't really have the same.
I was shocked at how, like, disturbing the film was.
Yeah.
Like, I expected it to be, like, very, like, thematic and whatnot, but I didn't expect it to be so disturbing. because there was some scenes like my
Genuinely
jaw,
intense.
yeah, like my jaw was just on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
There was definitely a lot of scenes where my jaw was like to the floor. Like I did not see a lot of the stuff that happened in the film coming at all.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah, and I think that's why, again, like, I don't have too much of a problem with the pacing, because I felt like a lot of that was just building up tension for those kinds of moments.
Oh yeah.
And there's one moment in particular, I think that's somewhere in the second act.
I think I know.
Yeah, where I was just like, wow.
I was loving this. I was like, holy shit.
Like, the shit hit the fan real hard. And again, like, the way the score was using it, the way it was directed, the way it was visually set up, it's just, it really gets you into this film a lot. It really sucks you into the atmosphere. And it was moments like that really made me feel like this is definitely worth it. The pace and the setup is worth it, because it doesn't hold back when it goes for it. It really packs a huge punch.
Just a little bit more precursor, since I just kind of missed like the very general talk of the movie, and I just kind of jumped into my criticisms.
Yeah.
Like, I also think that the score was used very beautifully. There were some really intense scenes that like really got me. And the movie is just so visually appealing. Like there was always like really beautiful colors used through the movie.
Oh yeah.
And I thought all the performances were pretty fantastic, honestly. Like maybe like the little more side characters weren't as strong as the main three characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, Juliette Binoche, I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Juliette Binoche, I think she was fucking great.
She's my favorite actress. I won't harp on that too much, but I was expecting a good performance.
I almost think she gives the best performance in the film, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough to say, but she had a really demanding job, and I think she really knocked it out of the park. Especially with those kind of like what the fuck scenes that she kind of had to do.
Right.
Yeah.
But even then, like, just her, just the kind of character she is, I think it was like very like convincing, like that she would do these things. And Barbara Pattinson was also great. Mia Goth was really damn good.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising, but
even Andre 3000, like he wasn't in the film long, but he definitely left an impression on me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I heard Claire just like completely went out of her way to get him in the movie.
Oh, really?
Because she likes his music, I think.
Really?
And Robert Pattinson.
Atlanta, Georgia, man.
Yeah. And Robert Pattinson like fought to be in this movie. Like, he was like, oh, I really wanted to be in this director's film because I'm such a huge fan of her. So that's pretty cool.
Well, I gotta check out more of her shit, because after seeing this, I definitely want to go back and see what she's done.
I completely agree.
I saw her previous movie from before this called Let the Sunshine In, which was also starring Juliette. It's not great. It's good, but it's not great. It's like a more depressing version of Gloria Bell.
Oh, really?
That's what it is. but you know, she has like a lot of really critically acclaimed movies like Beau Travel, I don't know how to pronounce it, and White Material with Isabelle Huppert.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta watch that. I hear that's really good. And she has a horror movie called Trouble Every Day that people say it's really good. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I guess we'll go ahead and just give our grades really quick. I'll go first. So, in conclusion, this film was visually stunning, especially a lot of the space imagery. You don't get like a lot of it, but when
I like that you don't go.
Yeah, but when it gives it to you, it's really like, it's so delicate, and it's all very just stunning to watch. A lot of, you know, awesome black hole action, especially since it's kind of weird that we're watching space film that has to do with that kind of stuff, because this whole like black hole picture just getting released, you know,
that's really cool.
News. So a lot of awesome black hole imagery, and I know that's kind of getting into spoiler territory, but not really.
Not really.
The black hole imagery in this film, and just the space imagery, and just period in this film, is just completely out of this world, both figuratively and literally.
Yeah.
It's really, really stunning. Again, the score is great, the performances are great, the direction's great, camera work all around is great. The only thing that bothered me a little bit was some of the pacing, some of the way it jumps back and forth with the timeline. I don't know if that's really a criticism, but when I was watching it, it slightly bothered me. But you know, none of the stuff regarding how it kind of leaves things, you know, it kind of leaves questions there that aren't fully answered. That none of that stuff really bothers me. The way the narrative was told generally doesn't bother me because visually it was just really nice to look at. And the pacing, I feel like, since it built up to a lot of stuff and it gives you those really intense moments, a lot of it felt purposeful and it felt definitely worth the wait. So let me stop talking shit. Overall, I really enjoyed this film, and I'm going to give it, I'll give High Life an 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so Eric's next.
Okay. This is a very, very slow movie. That's not me talking shit because I love slow movies as long as there's fucking substance to it. Because slow movies that are boring are just grating. But yeah, every technical part about this movie is pretty fucking flawless, honestly. All my problems are with the writing. Like I said, I think they're different problems, but it doesn't like take me out of the film. It's not a fucking ruiner or anything, because I think the accomplishments of the movie like far outweigh the flaws, and I really like the way this movie's paced personally. But yeah, overall, I had this grade in my head for a while. I'll give it an 8 out of 10 as well.
Hey, awesome.
Oh wow, that's interesting, fellas. Because like you said, like this, if you just want an aesthetically pleasing drama that's set in space, and I would say mainly this film is about humanity, this is what I wanted from the movie, and that's exactly what I got. And like I said, I didn't take too many issues with it. Yeah, I did have some pacing issues, and there were some writing issues. There was also like voiceover that was a little too spoon-feedy. Some I understood and I thought was appropriate. There was some voiceover there was parts of the voiceover I didn't like. I am also going to give this film an 8 out of 10.
Hey.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Cool.
So we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same page with High Life.
Awesome.
Which isn't that surprising because we all love a lot of A24 stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't too big of a surprise, but that's pretty awesome. So 8 out of 10 from all three of us. There
Awesome.
you go.
8 out of 10.
All right, so we're gonna get into some spoiler stuff. If you want, I'll let Perry lead the way on that.
Sure thing.
What did you have in your head when you said you want to do a spoiler section exactly?
Okay. Well, first we gotta talk about the reason why Robert Pattinson is brought on to the spaceship. He's brought on with a bunch of other prisoners. Basically, they were like inmates that were either on death row or they had life sentences. And basically, it's revealed that Juliette Binoche killed her children, and I think she said she also killed her husband.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why she wanted them to come, on the spaceship with her is so she could create what she considers the perfect child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really disturbed
Yeah,
by
she's
when
fucked.
she literally like got onto Robert Pattinson and like kind of jerked him off,
Yeah.
and like literally took the semen, put it in a syringe, and then put it into Mia Goth.
She didn't fucking jerk him off. She fucked him.
I'm pretty sure she fucked him.
Yeah, she fucked him.
Fucked him. It was
No,
a
it's
little
okay.
like the angle was a little weird.
Yeah.
So
No,
I was
it's
kind of
a-
confused on what was going on.
But it was really fucked up. Like,
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a fucked up scene.
Yeah.
And there's another, like,
We also got to talk about the guy who tried to rape Mia Goth.
Yeah,
That scene was-
that's the scene I was
Holy
talking about. That's the scene I was
shit.
talking about. Yeah.
I
that shit.
love the way, like, sound was used in the fucking,
yes.
in the score.
Yeah, that's where I was, because up until that point, like, I liked the film, but I wasn't like super engaged in it. But I did like it.
Right.
But after once it hits that point, I was just like sucked in from there on. Like
Yeah.
it really sucks you into the film the way it's all presented to you.
And when they show his face after he gets fucking like stabbed,
I love that
there was
they did
literally
that.
Yeah.
people in the audience gasping.
Yeah, I
and
heard
saying,
that.
"Oh,
Yeah, I
heard
fuck,"
that.
and all this. Oh
Yeah.
man, it was just so satisfying to see that.
Since we're talking about spoilers, one thing that I was confused about, or kind of have a slight criticism about how it was conveyed, was the way that what's his name, 3000,
Andre 3000.
Andre 3000. The way like his character vanishes, like I was just like, huh?
Well, I don't think he vanishes. I mean, he kind of like says that, you know, he doesn't want to do this anymore. He's probably like missing home and regrets his decision of, you know, going on space.
So it is implied that he just kills himself?
I think he, even though I'm sure like starvation and exposure is like a terrible way to die, I just assume that, you know, he just completely gave up on life and just gave himself away. Like, I think it's pretty telling that he like planted himself like onto soil and just like let himself go and decompose.
And while we're into spoilers, after Julia Binoche uses Robert Pattinson's semen to impregnate Mia Goth, once Mia Goth has the baby, she just goes fucking crazy. She's like, I'm going to the garden, which is, you know, they have a garden on the spaceship. And she jumps into like a private pod spaceship. She goes into the black hole and her fucking head explodes.
Basically, Well, oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
You know, it was interesting because, okay, obviously I'm not a fucking astrophysicist. I'm not super well versed in into science, but I do have my fair bit of research on black holes and space because I find it intensely very interesting. And I know that when you travel inside a black hole, apparently your body fucking completely just stretches out. And I was wondering if they were gonna do that, and they did.
They did actually.
And it didn't seem cartoonish. It didn't seem out there. It was very believable.
The way you see it, it just her face gets stretched, and then afterwards you see a shot of the film just completely stretching and then vanishing.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was so scientifically accurate and visually just stunning.
It was visually very stunning.
Yeah, it was just it was great. I absolutely loved that scene. It was, again, and the way the score was used there was really great too. That was definitely one of the more intense scenes of the film, and it really got, again, like Eric said, if you know anything about black holes, even a layman's understanding of black holes, it really captures that really well.
And just the shots of the black hole just warping around the ship. It was
that was so just I was like, wow, girl, you're about to get completely bent up from time and space right now. You're about to get warped.
Yeah. But I guess you technically just die in basically an instant once you're in.
Once you get fully stretched, that's done. You basically are gone. You're just a goner. You vanish basically.
So there's another pretty intense out there scene that I'm sure that you guys are aware of.
Yeah, you're talking about Binoche and the fucking the box.
Oh yeah.
I love that scene.
That was another scene before the rape scene in the middle. That was, again, one of the ones that really got me into it. I wasn't, again, before that, I was okay, I like it. But when scenes like that happened, I was, really into it. Because that's kind of, what I was hoping to receive when I went into this film, was getting those really kind of out there, immersive, artsy moments. And that was one of them. And it was a great character moment. It was just a great thematic moment. It was just a really immersive, weird moment in the film that I really dug, and just really great performance, of course, by Binoche. Wow.
Yeah, she blew me away. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in a film, honestly.
You know what that reminded me of, kind of?
Yeah, what?
It's interesting because after the scene happened, she walked up to Robert Pattinson. She was like, I must seem like a witch to you. Yeah. When she was actually in the box, pleasing herself, that made me think of the Suspiria remake. It felt like something I would see in that film.
I could see that.
Yeah,
just the way it was shot and the way the music played in the background.
Yeah, I got a little bit of hints from the Suspiria remake, just here and there, but I just love the way it was used. The use of the score, the fact that you just didn't see anything. It was just completely pitch black, and it just cuts to random, shots of her in her body, and just not even in a super. I mean, it's a sexual scene, but it's just incredibly artsy.
Yeah.
And I think anybody who's just walking into the film just honestly, just want to see a space movie,
I think that scene, if there's any just person who isn't really prepared for what they're in for, if there's just a casual moviegoer or somebody who just isn't prepared for this kind of movie, once that scene comes on, either they're just gonna just tap out or walk out, or just or just not like it, because
this is too weird. What the fuck is she doing?
Because that scene kind of sets the standard for the rest of the film. It kind of lets you know that it's gonna be this kind of film. And if you're not into that, then you're probably hated the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
What's weird is like at first when I saw this, I'm like, "Whoa, Claire Denis, you're kind of a pervert." But as like the scene progressed, I'm like, "Wow, this is really disturbing."
Yeah, it got really disturbing. But yeah, and of course the way it ends.
The way it ends, yeah.
Carlos was laughing, and I knew it was gonna end that way.
I was like, "Oh shit, yeah, it's probably it. This is gonna end here," and it did. And I could see a lot of people having problems with it. I can even see film lovers watching this and being let down and being like, "Oh, like really just gonna end it there?" But I mean, at the end of the day, like, what else do you want? Like what else did you want the film to do after that point?
Yeah, I mean, they would have to be forced, like something, like some sort of plot device, like maybe Matt Damon comes in and he fucking adds more tension to the movie.
Hey, you leave that movie alone. I love Interstellar.
There's only one other thing I want to bring up. It's just a nice little positive. I really like the title scene of this movie.
Oh yeah.
Cause okay, obviously anybody who's seen it, like, it takes a long time establishing that nobody is with Robert Pattinson. It's just him and his daughter in the ship for a while.
Right.
And then he obviously disposes of the rest of the bodies that are just like taking up space or resources. And then, they're just floating in space, and the fucking, just all of a sudden, like, High Life appears.
Yeah.
And this is like, I would say like 15, maybe 20 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it took a little bit.
Yeah, it takes a bit for the titles to even come on. So when it comes on, it kind of catches you off guard because you kind of just forget about that aspect of the film. You're like, okay, yeah, like it just kind of flies by you. But then once it comes on, it's just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was a good trailer shot, and I was wondering how it was going to be used in the movie, and it used beautifully in the movie. But yeah, that's all for me.
I think it's about all this. Anybody else want to talk about anything?
I'm good.
All right.
See,
I love you, Julia
That's
Binoche.
What's that?
I said I love you, Julia Binoche.
Oh yeah.
And
in
Mia
case
Goth.
you're watching this,
Yeah.
Right?
In case you're watching this, which is fucking a far shot in hell, but if you are.
And by the way, almost all her performances I've seen are like in French, and this is like an English performance by her. So she obviously has amazing ass range.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously we all loved it. Basically, we all enjoyed it, and I definitely recommend it to film lovers. I can't really recommend this to a casual moviegoer.
No.
I mean, unless you just want to take a chance, go ahead. But this is definitely like 9 times out of 10, I can see a casual moviegoer walking out of this completely hating it. So
yeah.
Just avoid it if you're not really that into movies. But if you're a film lover, I would highly suggest watching it. I think you could definitely get a lot out of it.
Right.
But anyway, yeah. If you really enjoyed what we had to say about High Life, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well to be updated on more film-related content.
Film-related content.
Burn!